You're listening to Cash and Sass. I'm Lisa Marie, your go-to gal for all things money. As the Sassy Wealth Queen and the brains behind the Sassy Wealth Coach, I'm here to take you on a thrilling ride from the financial chaos to sassy and sexy money. Hi, my sassy listener. Welcome back to another episode of Cash and Sass. My name is Lisa Marie. I am the Sassy Wealth Queen and the powerhouse behind Transcendent Wealth Company and this podcast. And today with me, I have Trish Lynn, and I'm super excited to have her on. Trish Lynn is a dedicated single mom of 3 and a survivor of a narcissistic abuse. With her journey from victim to victor, she has transformed her life into one of empowerment and purpose. As a content marketing strategist, she specializes in helping women who have endured toxic relationships regain their voice and thrive in business. Her mission is to inspire and guide others to reclaim their power and succeed in both their personal and professional lives. Welcome, Trish. I am so happy to have you. And as we all know, what we're going to talk about money.
Yes, we are.
And today, I want to talk about how it relates to being a single mom, having a business, because you're a mom of 3 and you not only run a business, but you're handling 3 kids. And I have 2, and I know. And I just think it's really important to talk about. So, can you kind of describe maybe some of the lack of mindset that you had when first starting while having 3 kids?
So, one, thank you so much for having me today. I'm like, this conversation is so important. Before I ever had the courage to leave my ex, I had to start working on my money mindset. I had to. Because when you're in those toxic relationships, I left with no income coming in my business, and I did not have a job. I was a stay-at-home mom for 10 years. That mindset and shifting my beliefs was such an important core piece of the work that I did before I could even have that courage to leave. Because if I didn't, I wouldn't have been able to stay gone. So then we throw in living in Canada, the cost of rent, because I am self-employed. I cannot get a mortgage, having 3 kids, all of the things. There is so much fear that can come up and does come up. I mean, even now, 2.5 years out, I still have moments of fear. I'm living through one of the pieces right now where I'm doubting myself, but then I'm shifting as I move, because 3 weeks ago, my car was hit by a deer. And now I'm looking to buy a new car, and I'm not looking at it from the perspective of, okay, this is what I had. I'm looking at it now from the perspective of, where am I going? And feeling into those pieces. Like, we have these real life moments that come up as moms, as single moms. And we have to look at it from the perspective of, okay, this is where I was. This is where I'm going. I'm not going to buy into the fear and keep myself, I'm going to say small. I don't usually like using this word, but when you are building and going to these bigger places, and for me, I'm creating a movement. Like, I am leading women who are here to do big things. I have to lead first. So I have to lead from, where am I going? And am I buying this car out of fear because this is the safe option? Or am I expanding myself and expanding what is possible for me in this other option is what I really want?
Right. And when you're going through some of these tough moments, like we all as entrepreneurs and especially single moms go through, what are some of the things, like practical things that you would do to help pull you out of, I call mine little Lisa, and I tell little Lisa she needs to go sit down in the back seat. She's not allowed to drive. And she pops up every now and then. I mean, she's popped up several times over the last few months. But what do you do to help yourself? Like, do you have like, I sometimes dance to music to get the energy out. That's just something I do. I know some people journal, but I was curious as to what are some of the things that you do, because again, as a single mom, I don't know about you, but we go. And I think it's really important that sometimes when we go, and we get in our head, we forget to do some of the practices to get out of our head. And then we end up staying stuck. So how do you get out of that unstuckness?
Depends on how I'm feeling in the moment, but I dance. I will sing. I will have the music going all throughout my house just to get out of my head and back into my body, out, out of the thoughts that aren't supporting. But I also check in with those thoughts and then I shift them. If I have a thought of, oh, I can't afford this, I shift that because I can afford it. I am very grateful to be in the position that I'm in. And I always shift those negative thoughts with something of gratitude. And
Mhm.
that helps shift the energy. I will journal if I'm feeling I had to sit and journal the other day. I really just tap into what am I needing right now. Sometimes it's tapping. I love to use tapping techniques to get, that energy flowing and you can literally feel it open up in your body and start flowing.
I love
Sometimes
that.
sometimes it's meditation. It's really what am I needing in this moment? If I have been in hustle mode, sometimes I will just go stand outside if it's sunny and breathe.
I do that. I will just I will actually go outside and either sit or stand in the middle of the yard, close my eyes and look up and just let the sun
Yeah.
just beat on me. Um, because sometimes that's really what we need. And just take deep breaths and
Yeah.
just release it. Take a deep breath and release it, right? Because it's so important for us to remember. And, money mindset comes up a lot, especially with entrepreneurs. Money management comes up a lot with
Mhm.
entrepreneurs because, again, we're the ones that got to make sure our money is being managed. And then as a single mom, um, managing money personally and in business, it's going to be twofold, right? It's going to affect each other. What are some of the steps that you took to um, better manage your money? I mean, if you were a stay at home mom, you weren't making money, right? So when you started making money, managing it was new as well.
So I actually managed all of the bills. I took care
Okay.
of everything before I left. So it was actually my ex who was left a little stuck because he's like, you did all, like, I did everything. I handled everything. I made sure everything got paid when I had to be paid, like car insurance, house insurance. He's like, he bought a new truck. He's like, I just got screwed for insurance. I'm like, yeah, because you probably didn't call first, did you? Like, so many little things. So for me, it was more of a continuation, but really just focusing in on being aware of what was in the bank account and what had to go out and not putting myself in a situation where I felt stuck. I set an intention before I left that everything was going to work out. Like I held that belief so deep in my soul, and everything has always worked out some way or another.
Yeah, I mean, and it's important to know that it may not work out the way we think it's going to work out, right? Or the
Exactly.
way we plan, but it's still going to work out. And I think that's important to say. And you managed it, but how what are some steps that you did to make sure your business money was being managed as well as then making sure you were being paid to take care of your kids? Because y'all, you know what? I'm going to say it's breaking record. Please do not commingle your funds. It's
No,
really important to keep them separate. And I think that I'm pretty sure you do. And I'm hoping that we can talk about that because even as a single mom, it's important to keep those things separate so that you can make sure both are being taken care of because that's how you grow your business.
yeah. So I have two separate accounts. And then I just paid, again, it's paying attention to what is going in and what is going out. That's
Checking
how
on
I,
you check on your cash flow.
that's it.
It I
I just
call it
keep it so simple.
I call it checking in with your I call it a money check-in, and it's really checking in with your cash flow because your cash flow day to day is really important. Um and that doesn't take place of like I believe in having a money roadmap where you have all your expenses listed and checking in with that bank account, logging in. Y'all, we all have these things called phones.
Yeah.
Um, Going onto the app and just doing a quick check and paying attention, like she said, is just really, really important.
And I think it's, so like, if you're someone who is scared to look at your bank app, you have to shift the thoughts around that
Mhm.
because I used to be scared to log in and be like, there's going to be no money. What am I going to do? How am I going to pay my bills? Well, guess what? we need to shift that because we have to check in. Not checking in with your bank account is still a fear mindset, it's a lack mindset. And if we want to shift that and shift the money that is coming into us through our businesses, through any source, because I am fully transparent on this, I left with zero income coming in. The first 6 months that I was gone, I don't know how I did it, but I did it because my business, I was not in a state to generate an income in my business. I had my business 100%, but I didn't have any clients because I didn't have the capacity for those clients.
Mm-hmm.
But I still made a point of checking in, not being in that lack mindset, and doing the pieces, shifting the pieces that I needed to shift for me so I could start bringing in the clients and seeing those results come in, looking into masterminds and getting myself back out into spaces that were going to support what it is I was building.
Yeah, and it's really important to understand. I mean, when I started my business, I started it with less than nothing. I don't make it a secret. Everybody who's been listening to my podcast or watching the video knows, because I don't make it a secret, and it's really important to. I used to be afraid to look at my bank account too, and now I find that if I, for whatever reason, life has happened and things happen, and I don't look at it for a few days, that is when things become chaotic. Whereas when I stay on top of it and I look at it, it's like, oh, okay, we're good. But then when I don't for 3 or 4 days, I'm like, well, we've been good all of a sudden. So I tell people all the time, I was like, look, just do a quick check in, because you have to change your relationship with money in order to be able to hold more money. And if you can't manage 4,000, 5,000, 1,000, then you're not going to manage 15,000 or 50,000, especially with your mindset, because I believe the management mindset go hand in hand. And I think it's just really, really important to notice that it's possible. It doesn't matter if you're a single mom. It's truly possible to have uh, clarity and be able to stand on your own 2 feet and have your own business and build wealth.
And to even take that a step further, so leaving that toxic relationship, I went into a mastermind 6 months out, and she said to me, she's like, you should be having 20K months. Well, my whole body, and this is like really feeling into your body, my whole body contracted. Okay. I was like, holy shit, that is the work because I do not feel safe having 20K months. So it's not only being able to manage your money, what are you going to do? How would you feel if you opened up your bank account and that 20K was there? How would you
Yeah.
feel sitting there like
Mhm.
and tapping into those feelings? Because then you got to work on your mindset around it. Because a lot of people are still in survival mode when they have the money come in, and that money miraculously, yeah, it comes in but it goes out just as fast as it came in. So it's being able to manage your money, make
Mm.
sure your mindset is on point and that your nervous system is like, okay, we are safe to actually hold this. We are safe to have this come in and stay in.
Yeah, I have a client. She couldn't figure out why money was disappearing, and or she wasn't getting to the next level. And I asked her, I said, "Well, how do you feel about making 25K a month?" And when I saw her reaction, I said, "There's your answer." And the first time my coach told me that I should be 500K going into 7 figures, you talk about a contraction. Okay, y'all, I was on food stamps for 3 years. Okay, I I barely made ends meet. So for someone to come and tell me, okay, yes, you've now hit 6 figures, and I was like, I don't need to be 7 figures. I don't want. He said, why do you think you're not getting 7 figures? He said, because you've told the universe that it's okay, you don't make it. So when it started climbing, I literally sabotaged it unknowingly, right? And so he's like, you should be. That's how do you think he was like, here, I'll use this. How think about the impact you want to make, which is what he told me. And so I thought about it. I want there's things I want in the world to change, right? I want women to be empowered. I want mental health to be no longer a stigma. I want kids with special needs to have the resources in all the states, not in just particular states. And no matter how high, especially autism, no matter high on the spectrum or not, I want them to have the resources that they should have. What's that going to take? Money. whether we like it or not, change comes from money. And as soon as I said that with money, he goes, "Well, how are you going to do that if you don't increase your threshold?" And I went, "Well, shit."
Yeah. It's those well shit moments that are like the
Right?
light
It's like,
goes
"Well,
off.
shit."
Yeah. I
So
love those
the
moments.
contraction, I was like, okay, so I need to work on this because if I want a house with a pool for my autistic daughter so that she can go and swim and not have to swim in public with thousands of people, which she won't do, or one of those swimming pools in those neighborhoods with the homeowners association, which she will not do. Then, and I want to be able to make these impacts. My threshold needs to be higher.
Yep.
And I have several people telling me that it can be. A coach who's seeing me what I can do and is like, you should be. And I'm gonna be honest, it took a few months for me to like get there to open up and go, oh, okay, yeah, this is possible. And now that I'm there at that, oh, this is possible, and I don't freak the hell out. Now I'm working on, yes, this is possible, and I can hold it and I
Yes.
can manage it just like I'm doing now with the money that's coming in. And that's the key is you're not going to do it overnight. It is a constant work in progress. It is a daily practice. And I don't think I can stress that enough. Yours didn't happen overnight, did it?
Nope. It's a daily practice. It still is now. As I'm looking, I just shifted my whole business model. Well, I have to get out of my own head around
I
this
shifted
is what
mine too.
it is supposed to look like, right? Like we get stuck in this with everything. There's a thing, a way that we feel like, oh shit, yeah, I'm supposed to do it this way, but that doesn't feel good. So it's normalizing for us what maybe isn't normal for everyone else. The money, from food stamps to building a 7-figure business, that's a fucking giant leap. And you have to normalize that within your body. Well, you have probably external sources that are like, oh, that's not possible for you. Or like, you know what I mean? The little pieces. I have that in my life. I am going to bigger cash months. And I'm like, it's got, someone on this side saying, well, I don't want you to be tight and this and that, and you're going to struggle. I'm like, you're not supporting what I am creating and where I'm going. Like, I have already evolved so much from the 2.5 years ago when I first left from nothing,
Mhm.
but it's feeling it in my body to feel safe. And it's allowing myself to feel safe in holding it. And it doesn't happen overnight. And there's moments that are still going to trickle in. We're human. But it's
Yeah.
that next level self awareness and then normalizing what isn't perceived as normal to other people around you who don't have that same push to go after the things that you're going after. They don't have that drive to create their life the way they want to create it or create that impact. Like, we are here to lead and create an impact.
Right.
And it's not every, like, my closest family, they don't know what I'm doing because they don't understand it.
There's some people in my family who know what I do and still don't understand
Yeah.
it. I mean, right after I started, excuse me, having my business, I was told I needed to go and get a real job um,
Yep.
that was safe and secure. And I informed them that I had made it through 7 layoffs and then that one was done. And I really wasn't convinced that that was actually, excuse me, the most secured way to be. And I've now had my business for 8 years. And I'm going to tell you through all the ups, downs, pivots, mountains, shit that's come up, I'm still more secure than I would have ever been in a job because, again, I have control. Are there moments where it's tight because life and society and shit happening? Absolutely. Do we sometimes have to go back and look at, okay, this is what our back end looks like, this is what our team looks like? Or is this still aligned? Does this work? Yes, we do. And whether we like it or not, we do. Um, and that's something I've had to do. I'm shifting my back end. I'm changing the way it looks. I'm making it more aligned with the direction that I'm wanting to go. while also making it to where I feel safer to bring in the more money because we have life happening. We are going to be moving. We're packing up. We're going to be moving. All those things, which means finding a new house to rent, which means all these things
Yep.
are affecting the money. And little Lisa's coming up going, don't you want to just stay
Yep.
where you're at? What you want to do? And you know what? No, we're good. We can do this. And that's where we have to be able to recognize it because otherwise we stay stuck. Life is going to happen. Lemons are going to be thrown your way. That's just part of it. It's how we handle it. It's what we do with it that's going to, someone told me a long time ago, it was right around COVID, that the businesses that make it, whether it's COVID, society, whether it's inflation, whatever, the businesses that are going to make it are going to be the ones, one, who are in it no matter what, and are willing to pivot and keep going through the tough and the good. Because there's so many that as soon as it gets bad or tough, oh, I can't do
Oh,
this. And
yep.
they're out. And I have always decided because my girls need me at home and my oldest is autistic that there is no plan B. Once I was let go, and it took me being let go to even see the possibility of truly having a full-time business. Once we were there, okay, there's no plan B. Well, like my coach said, okay, well, if there's no plan B, and you want to make this impact and you want to make this change and you want to buy a house and not rent, do you think you're going to be able to get there at the level you're at now? No, because I'm at the level now. And if I could get there, I'd already have it. Right. Then you need to be able to shift your way of thinking in order to hold more. And I am not woo woo by any means, although can't say that I am hybrid because I have heard the wind talk, another discussion for another day. But the wind talk, just like you and I are talking to each other. Okay. I even have a necklace to remind me about it. Um, what we focus on, we create more of. So if we let that little person who pops up and we start thinking of the negativity and we start thinking of, oh, I can't hold it. I can't do it. Or, oh my God, 7 figures or, oh my God, 20K. Guess what? You just blocked it. Because what happened is you're not going to do the steps to get you there. You're not going to take the active manifestation steps to get you there. Right. And I think that's really important. And so working on that mindset and shifting the language. I always have a hard time journaling unless I guess because I told somebody, I said, look, you tell me to journal, but once I'm in my head, there is nothing to journal. I am in my head. That's it. Right? There's nothing to get out. I'm in my head. And she was the one that told me, turn some music on and dance. No, it doesn't matter what it looks like, just dance. She said, if you don't think you look dumb or crazy, then you're not doing it right. She said, just move your body, get it out. And then a lot of times afterwards, I can sit down and I can either read a journal thing and then color, which eases my mind. And then after that, I can do like a 10-minute journaling or I could do longer. I just find that when you're moving and you're getting it out of here,
Yeah.
right, and out, then you're able to journal so that you're shifting the language. And I think that's really important. But and just also if you catch yourself thinking it, shift it and say it out loud the other way.
Yep. You
Right
have
then
to.
and there. Say it out loud. Doesn't matter who hears it. Just say it. And people are like, huh? I'm like, do it. I promise.
I said something the other day, and like, I don't have my kids this week. They're at their dad, so I'm a bit alone. And I'm like, I said something I'm like, oh shit, that's not supporting me. And like, I said it out loud. I'm like, I'm now talking to myself. Oh my God, what is happening? Like, normally the conversations happen in my head,
In
not
the
out
head.
loud. This week it
So
happened out loud. I'm like,
you and I
oh
are the
my,
same. You and I are the same. The conversations happen in the head. People are like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm having a meeting with myself. You
yeah.
just can't hear it.
But it's shifting in the moment because whatever you're thinking is now signaling back to your nervous system of, oh shit, we can't do this. This isn't safe. And if your nervous system doesn't feel safe, ultimately you're not going to call that wealth in.
Mhm. Yeah, I have found anytime I have not taken action, which is a perfect example of like 3 weeks ago. My coach, mentor of mine wanted me to do something, take action and I later on I was like, I haven't done it. Well, you haven't done it because of this. And like I was literally coming up with all these reasons, the kids, this. And then I just turned around, I sat back, I said, okay, but now I can't blame myself if nobody signs up for this. And then I heard, well, maybe it's just not meant to be. I was like, oh shit, wait a minute. Okay, here we go. There's something there. And so I turned music on and I just like, no, I'm behind this. I love this. Okay, we need to, because again, just a small little thing thought. And that's where, wait a minute. Now the truth has come out. You didn't do it because you're not feeling safe to do it. So, what do we do to shift that? Now, does that mean the very next day I went and did it? No. What I did is I started working on why I didn't feel safe and turning that around and then making baby steps towards it, right? Because that's what works for me. Some people, they'll just peel the band aid off and jump full in. But if I don't feel safe and I jump full in, I'm going to sabotage it when I jump in.
Well, and that's it. And your energy is going to speak for yourself as you're putting that out there, right? And it's funny because I had the exact opposite this morning. Literally, I'm sitting at 10 o'clock. My content's ready to go out. Some of it's already gone out. And I'm like, what do I do? I created this business from a place of, rooted regulation. And now there's no chaos. I have nothing. What do I do? I was like, oh my gosh, I need to journal about this because I've created this and now I feel lost because I'm used to having all of the chaos and everything going on. And it is such a good feeling to have. And we get to just move forward from this place of ease. And that's like,
Easy and fun.
yeah.
We'll
And as a
remind
single
ourselves
mom,
that we don't have to have the chaos in business, that it gets to be
right?
easy and fun. Cause I'm like you, I'm used to all the chaos, all the shit happening, something happening, and us going. And when there's this day, I'm like, now what?
And I think as a single
I'm like,
mom,
oh, we
yeah,
do get to have it easy and fun.
we're like, oh no, this is supposed to be hard. Wait a second. No, it's not. It's not.
It doesn't have to be. It does not have to
No.
be hard. It doesn't have to be. Will there be sometimes difficult
Of
things?
course there will
Absolutely.
be.
Again, life happens.
I
And it's not
yeah,
always fair when it does.
I wrote about this the other day because I've had one hell of a last month. April was thing after thing after thing after thing, just like moments, and then, like life does not give a shit about your business.
Thank
Life
you
is
very
going to
much. No, it
happen.
does not. No, it does
It
not. Because
doesn't.
you and I both, I was the same thing. April was boom, 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 boom. I'm like, any day now.
And that's I'm still saying it, still saying I'm like, okay, April's done, like it's May, spring is here, we've got good things coming, but life is still going to happen. It doesn't give a shit about your business. And are you going to regulate yourself so that you can still show up as the person
Mhm,
who is here to create the impact? And that is such a big growth piece when it
mhm.
comes to everything that we are creating. It's being able to hold it all. And I kept saying, I'm like, I got this. Like I was being tested. I'm in the midst of an up level and I'm being tested. Am I gonna hold it or am I gonna fall? So it's dialing into those practices even
Yep.
deeper and knowing, okay, I'm in my fucking head. I gotta go move. I'm in my head. I have to go to yoga. I went to yoga one morning and I just sat and cried on the mat because I had to get all of that bullshit out so that I could
Right.
still show up and keep moving forward. And we're all, of course, we're going to be tested. What we are building and where we are going is not something that a lot of people will continue to show up for. So it's rooting back into what keeps you calm, grounded, regulated, and moving forward.
Hmm. And sometimes the up leveling is a longer period. Like
Yep.
I've gone into last year was a difficult year for the business, but it was because there was some personal growth that was happening. There was some shifts, there was some up leveling. I joke about Phoenix rising. Phoenix came in and burnt it all to I mean, like just said, okay, we're setting fire and you're gonna change this. And so there was a lot of growth. There was a lot of business growth. There was changing the business name. There was just it was up leveling, but it was also shifting. And it was shifting my mindset, my beliefs, stepping into who I really am. And so now we're having this new shift and new up leveling, right? And I'm like, okay, didn't we handle all of this last year? Well, no, that was getting me to this point so that I can make this shift and up level. And how am I going to hold it? Am I going to still show up standing on my feet, sure that the sureness of what I am here to do and the impact I'm here to make, and how I want to change the way we talk about money. And if I'm going to do that, and yes, do I want to hold more? And am I safe to hold more? I want to keep doing those things. Okay, then I need to show up as myself, right? I need to keep showing up. And do we keep up leveling as and life throwing things? Yes. Do we have to sometimes pivot and go out and scream and cry or do whatever to get the bullshit out of our heads? Absolutely. I've done it a couple of times this year already. And getting it out of your head is that first step to being able to take that shift. To be able to, you know what? This is okay. This is what I'm going to do. This is how I can handle it. This is okay. It is safe. And just continuously doing that practice. Because the more you practice and believe that you can hold the money, the more you're going to do the actions to get clients and have more money come in. And that's and again, that's also paying attention to your money, because here's the thing. You can work on your mindset all you want. If you're not managing it, you're still going to be broke. Period. In a discussion on that one. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
They go hand in hand. They just do. And I
And
learned that the hard way.
I love a piece that you said, your evolution, you're going to look back and look back and be like, holy shit, I've come this far. But then you're going to realize how much you've held and how much you can hold. And you're like, I can hold more. And then
Mhm.
the impact grows and the mission grows. And I love
Yeah.
that. To me, that's like personal business is personal development on steroids, because we learn how much power we are actually capable of and how much power we hold within. And we get to continually expand what is possible, not only for us, but those who are coming into our spaces and coming into the work that we are here to do. And then it's that ripple effect.
Yeah. And sometimes that personal growth is a ripple of it, right? Because you hadn't realized you needed that much of a personal growth. And you have such a huge personal growth that it requires the business to shift. And the personal growth that I went through, there was some releasing, there was some wailing, as I call it. I've never wailed in my life until last year. And there was these shifts and there was things that had to be done, and a lot of times the personal growth has to happen before you can go to a major shift. So like when you're first up leveling in your business, you might have some small personal growth, but when you about to make a huge one, guarantee there's some personal growth that's going to be happening, because you have to have that personal growth in order to step into the new thing of what you're going to the new vision of what you're wanting and being able to hold and the impact that you're wanting to make. And
Well,
that's really important. Like going
yeah,
those 20K months or seven-figure years,
yeah.
and not having a full-blown panic attack when somebody says it.
Well, that's it. If I were to hand you 20, 30, 40K right now, if can you feel safe in holding that? If the answer is no, you've got the work to do.
Right. Right.
And when it comes down to it, as a personal brand, if it doesn't matter how many moving pieces there are, how many team members, I am still the base of my business.
Mhm.
Everything that happens moves through me, through
Right.
my growth, through the decisions I make.
Right.
And you have to go through that growth for yourself. in order to expand and in order to create that bigger impact.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I love this conversation. I could have it forever. Um, you have a free gift for the listeners. Will you
Yes.
please tell us about that?
I've created a few now, so I'm not sure exactly which one I shared
You
with you.
tell me which one you want. The one that you had told me about was, let me see. Y'all can tell. Where'd it go? Mm, well then.
I'm going to
Oh,
go with
there it is. 10 signs your
yes.
toxic relationship has infiltrated
Yes.
your business.
I was going to say, I'm going to go with that one. So many times pieces from, if you've been in a toxic relationship, pieces from that relationship are still coming into how you are showing up online, how you are showing up with your clients, the boundaries or lack of boundaries that you create. There's so many pieces that you don't even recognize are pulling from that relationship that you're still carrying forward. So that checklist is definitely one you want to check out and see, like, is this me? Even if you haven't been in a toxic relationship, go take a look at the checklist, because this could be your nervous system signaling, oh shit, like there's work to do.
Right, right. Because it could be that you've been in a toxic relationship and you don't realize it,
Yep.
or you're not
Toxic family,
acknowledging it, or
toxic environment. Like there's so many pieces now
yeah,
that,
and it don't have to be a spouse or husband or wife. It could be work. Mine
yeah,
was work. Mine was corporate. And so if some of that is spilling in, I love that, because then you're able to say, "Oh, okay, I still have some of this."
yeah,
Um, and it's just important to be able to realize, because it's just another way to work on that mindset and money mindset and being able to hold the stuff, so that you can stand on your own 2 feet and you can grow your business and manage your money and build wealth, because that's what I want every woman to be able to do, is to build the wealth, and be aligned with their values, their goals, and their lifestyle. Because what I want in my lifestyle, my goals are going to be different than Trisha's, and hers are going to be different than yours. And that's the key, is it being aligned. Um, Thank you so much for being on my show. If you have one thing that you would want to say to the listeners before we end, what would that be?
don't let fear hold you back. Be true to who you are. Go after those big things that you want. Check in with yourself, make those shifts along the way, and don't look back.
And the one thing I'm going to say along with that is, don't let money taboo or fear of money stop you. Change the way you look at your money, change the relationship with your money. Because I'm telling you from experience, when you change your relationship with your money, amazing things can happen. They will happen. Amazing things will happen. And it will allow you to step into all the things that you're wanting to do. Thank you very much for being on my show. I truly appreciate having you as a guest. And my sassy listeners, until next time, remember, yes, money can be sexy. Bye. Thanks for joining us this week on Cash and Sass. Check us out on social media and on our website at www.thesassywealthcoach.com, where you can download my free Money Story Start Guide. The website again is www.thesassywealthcoach.com. And as always, subscribe to the show to catch every new episode and leave us a review so we can continue to bring you fresh content. And remember, yes, it is possible to have sassy and sexy money. See you next week.